Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'm Professor Spira, just sitting here. It's a pretty day outside in fall here in the Midwestern United States. I'm eating a cucumber. Kind of got into this cucumber vibe lately. I've been eating like one cucumber at lunchtime, and I got inspired by Takora's video. If you look, Sister Takora, who's practiced the Mucusless Diet for 30 more years, but she was talking about how when she was pregnant, I believe, she had started eating a lot of cucumbers, and I just years ago I did a period of that where I was kind of eating cucumbers, and I would eat a lot of stalks of celery, and it was kind of I call that rabbit mode. When I get into a diet where I'm eating a lot of which is probably what I should be doing most of the time anyway, but just grab heads of just run around eating carrots and cucumbers and celery and all that kind of stuff. It just not even in the context of a salad, just be eating it. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. I would like to talk a little bit more about Professor Arnold Ehret's Mucusless Diet Healing System, annotated, revised, and edited by Professor Spira. We want to look at lesson 25, the enforcement of elimination by physical adjustments, exercises, sun baths, internal baths, and bathing. Okay, I'll read from the beginning here. And Ehret says that, as shown in previous lessons, all physical treatments vibrate or shake the tissues and thereby stimulate the circulation in one way or another for the purpose and with the result of loosening and eliminating foreign matters, the cause of all disease. The human body does this itself in the most perfect way as soon as you fast or as soon as your blood composition has been changed by natural diet. Physical treatments and physical culture can therefore be combined with this diet and fasting to enforce and to hasten the elimination. However, I must advise that extreme care be taken not to exaggerate, especially on quote-unquote bad days, days of strong elimination. If you are tired and you feel bad, then rest and sleep just as much as you can. On the days that you feel good during a fast or strict diet, you may take some physical treatment also, such as exercise, baths, massage, deep breathing, etc. So there's some really important information here that explains Ehret is about rational forms of exercise. Now, I know we don't talk a whole lot about exercise on this channel. I do personally exercise, and I go through periods where I exercise more or less, and I go to the gym. Brother Air has periods where he exercises, and I tell people, definitely exercise. I've just not been something that I always necessarily push or promote or talk about all the time, because I'm often focusing on transition diet or other things. But exercise is super important. I should probably talk about it more, and I think I will talk about it more. We got Danielle now, who's I've been working with for the past year in Mucusless Diet, and she owns her own gym and is one of the best personal trainers here in Columbus. And so I think I might hook up with her. We do some little workout videos or something like that, or I'll have her do the demonstrating. So we'll see. That'll be fun. But it's important. Now, what's also important is don't overexert yourself, and especially on days if you're fasting or you're eating nothing but fruit. Oftentimes you feel really good and you get all this energy, and you're like, man, I want to do something with this, and that can lead you sometimes to go and overexert yourself, going outside in the sun too long. I've done that myself. Wanting to work out or walk too far or something, just where you're feeling good, then all of a sudden there's this part you kind of go over this line. And the approach that I take is a conservation of energy approach, where you conserve your energy. You don't just do something just because you can, or because you're trying to prove something. Like, look what I can do. I can fast and I can do 5,000 push-ups, and like there's not a trying to prove stuff, in my opinion. It's all about refining the organism. And so what we've done with our physical culture and stuff, we got all this stuff in this mental thing where people are wanting to look a certain way and deal with all these socially constructed things, of image, what we're supposed to look like, and the body and all that kind of stuff. And I think that it's best to not put yourself through all that. I mean, that's like a mental minefield that you can't win. There was somebody, I was watching a lecture, somebody was talking, but they were making a good point where it's like, you can't, if you're trying to constantly compare yourself to other people or to societal standards, you're not gonna win, because there's always gonna be somebody that's a little bit buffer than you, or a little bit whatever, but again, the societal aesthetics, there's gonna be someone that looks a little better, that is a little taller, or got a little better hair, or a little darker, a little lighter, a little whatever it is you want to be. You will find somebody that is a little better, and it don't matter how far you get. I mean, you can talk to people that are on the cover of so-called best looking men and women of the year and all that kind of stuff, and you talk to them and they still have insecurities oftentimes about how they look, and they're on the cover talking about this is the ideal image of a perfect person in our society, and they're still, half the time they're still going through it, or they're real neurotic about that kind of thing. So my whole vibe is just ain't worrying about that. I'm trying to clean up my insides, period. So I'm gonna eat my cucumber, and I'm gonna eat my apples and my salads, and I just kind of leave it there. I'm gonna do my workout. Love walking out in the got some nice woods and stuff back here. I go out in the woods and walk around, and just keep it easy, but not try to, okay, I gotta do this, that's problematic in my opinion. So rational forms of exercise. The most natural exercises, and by far the best, are walking, dancing, and singing. The latter is the most natural breathing exercise, with the added advantage of loosening by chest vibrations. An excellent, quote, exercise, and one that everybody knows, is hiking in the mountains. When climbing hills, you increase your breathing in the most natural way. Your breathing becomes better and more harmoniously than with any system of exercise. So, I practice Mucusless Diet. I love doing it. I go out in the woods and walk as much as I can, and I just like going out there. And I was a tree hugger before that was even, that was a thing. Like I'd never heard that phrase, but when I was young, I would hug trees. And I still do that, or I you can get a lot of information. You put your hand on a tree, and I don't know. I got kind of an intuitive thing, and a lot of you probably do too, because we're nature people. And there is it's just a lot of information that you can get. You just put your hand on the tree. It's the real version, I guess, of like those televangelists. Put your hand on the screen, that kind of thing. It's like, no, but you're getting plugged in. And I know people talk about the earthing, I do that kind of thing. I don't always talk about a lot of those kind of things. They're just things I do, and there's other people that talk about them a lot more than me, or they do them more than me, or whatever. So I kind of figure, well, people will pick up on some of those things over with other people, some of the other channels and stuff. But I do all, that I love that. You can go out walking around outside barefoot. That's important in the grass or wherever. Just being as connected as you can be to the earth is always good. Just always good. The cleaner you become, the more easily you will understand what I teach in lesson 5, that air and the other ingredients of the forest are food, invisible food. So again, we're focused on air, walking in the woods, breathing, stretching, natural stretching. Animals stretch when they wake up or before if they stand up, they always stretch. We don't. A lot of us don't. We stand up and start taking off walking or without any kind of stretching. So these are just things that are natural, back to nature, trying to get back to nature. Both hands should be free when walking so as to permit continually the natural movements. Outdoor garden work is another natural exercise. The garden work, I know a lot of you guys have gardens, and that's wonderful, beautiful. I totally support gardens, orchards, your own stuff, growing your own food. I wish I did it. I'm not there yet. I got some more life things to get through in my own personal life to where I can get to that point where I'm just where you just growing on my own food. But that's the goal. I'm working toward that. There's some people that's already there. David Panza, I see him on Facebook, and he's got all kinds of gardens and grows everything. I mean, he's just now I really respect those of you out there with the green thumbs. That's just, I think it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I mean, that is what we need. That is the consciousness. That's the revolution. And that is where we take our own health truly into our own hands. Because you are controlling with your own land. You control what you putting in your body, and you know what you sprayed or didn't spray, or what you did to get the vegetable, to grow the vegetables or the fruit or whatever it is. And so that's really taking things to the next level. Grow your own food, definitely. By taking proper care of your body, you will generate health. The following exercises are suggested for those who desire to keep physically fit. I must again remind you that air is more necessary to life than food. Now, I need to take this quote. I'm going to do that when I'm done. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to make a meme out of this, an air it meme. That's a good quote. I must again remind you that air is more necessary to life than food. I mean, there's a simplicity. We're not telling nobody not to eat. There's no, people want to take a message like that to the extreme. It's like, oh, you're telling people not to eat. And when? I never told anybody not to eat. And Aaron didn't say not to eat, but we're saying what's the most important thing in life that most people don't even think about. They go through their entire day, not one time thinking about their breath. So back to nature, back to breath. I mean, in this moment, that's all we have. At this moment, you have because without that, this whole thing is done. So we have to be, and when you understand the whole point of vitality equals power minus destruction. I mean, it's not supposed to be this kind of, people are trying to make more out of it than it needs to really be. It's really simple. It's a simple concept. You can make scientific and physics, and I've done that a couple times. Compare principles of physics and things to it. But at the end of the day, it's just a simple concept that basically means that vitality stems from having the least amount of what doesn't belong there. So waste, when we use the word waste, we're talking about something that does not belong. So if my nose was totally stuffed up with a bunch of mucus right now, I wouldn't be able to breathe through my nose. But that should be an emergency. That should indicate emergency to me when that happens. Like, I can't breathe. Can't breathe through my nose. Emergency. Time to fast. Time to do some enemas. Like, that's nature's nature telling us what to do. When we learn how to read our body, we learn how to read the elimination. That's the more advanced kind of thing that I've not figured out the best way to express it yet, because I find a lot of people have trouble with it. But the ideal of being able to become intuitive to the point where you're not worried about, like, trying to plan out all your fasts, or you feel like you had to plan out every day's meals and all that kind of stuff. Some people really love that kind of thing. I hate that. I can't, I don't like that rigid sort of, okay, at this time of day I'm gonna do this. Now I work with people, I help them do that, but for me, I could never do anything like that. I have to be fluid. The fluidity, it has to naturally, just like a tree. The leaves of a tree just kind of fly in the wind. I need that type of fluidity and just go with the flow for my art of transition. But everybody's different. So if you're someone that likes that strict thing, then make your own menus based on what Eric had to say, or based on your own physiological thing. You can type things up and have, okay, at 8 o'clock I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna get up and then I'm gonna have some warm honey lemon water at this time, or whatever. I mean, you could do that kind of thing if you want, but the key is just understanding we're trying to get ourselves to that point where it is intuition. I mean, to me, the question of transition is, once you get to a point where you can let go and it's about the intuition, then that early part of your transition, in my opinion, would be done. The early stages of where you had to be strict and you're doing all this. There's a point where you get over a hump and it's about intuition, because you have the principles. You've been living the principles for some time, so you're able to sort of intuitively kind of, okay, let me navigate these waters, like me with this. And my intuition said to take another bite. So I did. It was good. But, so that was a good quote. Okay, proper breathing is therefore essential. Do not exercise in a closed, stuffy room. Stand before an open window. Take a deep, full breath with each exercise. Inhale through the nose and expel through the mouth. Stand before a mirror while exercising and admire the suppleness and graceful manner in which you perform each movement. Fall in love with yourself if no one else will. Keep the feet about 15 inches apart, stand erect, and use muscular tension. And then what follows are 9 exercises that Eric recommends. I'm not going to read those at this moment. Maybe I'll do a separate video where I just read the exercises, and then that could be something you could use if you want to try these exercises yourself. You could have the video there, you could hit pause and read exercise number 1. I'll read it, and then you can hit pause and you can try to follow the directions, and we'll see how that does. Is that something I've never done that before, but and they're great exercises. I mean, I don't do them every day. There was a period in my diet life that I did do them quite a bit, and then I mixed those exercises with things I'd learned from Kriya Yoga and working out, this just standard weightlifting and stuff. And so I've developed my own, which a lot of people, ultimately kind of develop your own exercise regimens. These are just great stretches and exercises that really are to me, they're almost like physical therapy exercises. If any of you studied physical therapy or have went through it, I'm really impressed with physical therapy, of what I've seen of it and studied of it. By no means, of any kind of authority on that and in that realm, but I think their physical therapy is an important modality that is far enough away from just the whole medical thing. It's like, here are exercises that no one taught you in gym class that can isolate and focus on connective tissue and certain muscles and tendons and things, so it's exercise with a purpose. It's not the purpose isn't vanity. It's not, oh, look at my, I can make my chest bounce and brr. It ain't about that. It's like, which I still can. That's funny to me. But it's not about that. It's about, getting in, if you have knee problems or, all kinds of, that's a whole thing that I would actually like to study that a lot more in the future. But that's what I see when I look at Eric's it's kind of unique exercises. It's different. It's not what you think when you do them. It's just like, oh wow, that does kind of work. And you get up the next day and you are sore. And as Eric says, if you do the exercises and you're sore, then you needed to do them. That was good that you got the stuff. Isolating some areas that need some attention. So I want to thank you for tuning in. As always, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, and you will be my friend forever. And say hi to me down in the comment section. Just if you tell me how your transition is going, if you got any questions, all those good things. And until next time, peace, love, and breath.